Good morning, doctor. Welcome back.
Good morning, Venkatesh. Nice to be back.
Great. So our topic for today is declutter. We've covered this in some ways at different times, that having a cluttered mind, either with too many things that we are trying to juggle, or too many emotions, or too many involvements, actually takes away from us being able to do what we need for our wellness. So we are going to understand that a little better and understand how we can simplify our lives and especially simplify our thinking. Yes, doctor?
Yes.
Over to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Well, Venkatesh, as you were mentioning earlier in the introduction, we have the overall sort of topic of wellness. Wellness can be disturbed very easily by noise.
Correct.
For example, in the midst of Diwali crackers, if you try to be very great in understanding and poise and whatever, no matter how hard you try, those Diwali crackers will suppress your hearing and your personality, and it will make you irritable.
Right.
Basically, Diwali crackers are fine only for those who are lighting the cracker, and for the rest of the people like you and me, the cracker is a disturbance.
Right.
Why is it? Because it is adding to the clutter of our brain function.
Right.
Our brain can function with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H number of items.
Right.
But then if one is disturbed more than the others, and if you are not anticipating it, it becomes noise. The noise becomes an irritant, and then
Correct.
it impairs your performance, your relationship, everything. If you
Correct.
have a pet will refuse to cooperate. The dog will bark too much, whatever.
Right.
So there are several dimensions of cluttering of the mind.
Correct.
It can be auditory, it can be visual, it can be just internal. You're sitting and quietly, what you think is quietly looking at the surroundings, but
Correct.
the quiescence is
Right.
lost.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think you're making a very good point, that starting from very simple things like physical noise or auditory noise, all the way to our thoughts itself, even if we think we are quiet, but our thoughts only can be noisy or cluttering our minds. Very good. Yes,
Right.
understand.
Right.
Whole range of.
Good. Next slide, please. Yeah. Now, noise, etc., are fine. And even during Diwali time, if
Correct.
there are too many crackers firing in too close an environment,
Correct.
then it becomes irritable. And then that is because it is ati. Ati means too much.
Correct.
And a Diwali cracker, somebody is lighting a cracker of 1,000 crackers, then it is nothing but raw, naked sound. And
Correct.
that has no meaning at all in your existence. But then it
Correct.
is there. So there are hundreds of examples like this where you have something happening too much, and then
Correct.
you don't like it, you are not with it. It's going to be a neurogenic or psychogenic type of input. And this is where we say ati sarvatra varjayet. Ati is excess.
Correct.
Sarvatra means everywhere.
Correct.
Varjayet is to be avoided.
Correct.
The excess of everything needs to be avoided.
Correct.
And cluttering of the mind comes into that.
Correct.
For example, in Andhra Pradesh, there is a
Right.
tradition of one person paying attention to 8 different inputs.
Right.
Ashtavadhan. It used to be called Ashtavadhan. Ashta
Right.
is 8. Avadhan is to pay attention. Now
Right.
they say if you can pay attention to 8 things at a time, you become eligible for Ashtavadhani,
Right.
like that. But
Right.
then if you cross that 8 and goes into 9 or 10, then you are in the zone of Ati,
Correct.
and then that is where you have to eliminate unwanted inputs.
Correct.
This elimination is very important. How do you eliminate is the big question.
Correct.
In today's digital world, at any given point in time, there are very hefty kind of inputs into your
Correct.
sensorium,
Correct.
and you just can't concentrate, so you get irritated.
Correct.
So you avoid that. To
Correct.
avoid that, we say ati sarvatra varjayet,
Varjayet.
means it has to be reduced. Any comments, Venkatesh?
Yeah. No, I think between the two slides, a very good theme clearly to me. You started with noise, and then you're talking about too much of anything. Both are very interesting because it is about too much of anything. And also, we talk about noise and signal, right? Which is what is important is the signal, what is not is the noise. And these two things are beginning to define for us what is clutter and what is too much. Yes, good.
Right, very true, very true. Okay, now there is something called toxic emotions.
Right.
It is related to anything in excess. Ati sarvatra is because when that ati becomes toxic.
Correct.
Okay, anything in excess can become toxic. And in Tamil there is a saying, "Amrutahu ni godu," which is
In Marathi.
very good. But then the same amrita in Tamil becomes an irritant. If there is excess of amritam, there is a poison. Amritam cannot be a poison, you would imagine, but an excess of amritam is a poison. And this is where you have all these complicated negative reactions and a persistent, incorrigible, irritational level. Yeah.
Correct.
And there are so many things that are causing this. For example, to begin with anger. Now, all of us go through an anger sensation or a feeling virtually every 10 minutes. You may disagree with this, but then consciously or subconsciously, there is an anger stimulus reaching your brain and then triggering so many other things. Now, there are other aspects like fear, sadness, or loneliness, jealousy, bitterness, despair, and shame. And you can keep adding to this list. So these become toxic. These become ati sarvatra. That is how they manifest.
They are natural to a point, but when they get out of hand and our ability to control or manage them gets out of hand or it goes beyond, that's when it becomes ati and toxic.
Right. And that is when everything becomes toxic. Now, today's life, if you go through the statistics of the number of emails everybody gets or any electronic inputs, and if it is too much, and too many calls and too many other inputs, then you are in the zone of toxicity. And you can't help it because you have to live in that. You can't escape it. And then even if you escape, those things will chase you.
So one has to learn to prioritize and actually actively remove. Our ability to manage these emotions requires our mind to be free. If our mind is cluttered, we cannot manage these emotions and bring them back in check. Absolutely.
Right. Very true. Now, in this, amidst all this clutter and confusion and irritation, Norman Vincent Peale, the fellow who is no more, talks about positive thinking.
Correct.
Now, it's so much noise and nonsense going on. How can you think positive? Your very thought is negative and irritational. Then you cannot have it. But then Norman Vincent Peale said, no matter where you are, no matter what you are doing, you have to learn to exert a positive thinking habit. And the power of positive thinking can solve so many problems for you. And Norman Vincent Peale was known for his contribution to the understanding of positive thinking. And no matter what the environment is, if you learn to think positive, then you are a winner of the game. Because that is where you have already filtered out. The power of positive thinking is sort of a filtering out of negative thinking. And you remove negative and put in positives. Yeah, Venkatesh?
No, very good point. That if you say how to declutter, this is a positive, this is an action-oriented way. You don't try to just suppress. You think positively and automatically you're filtering out the negative. Very good point. Yeah.
Right. Next slide, please. So ultimately, it all boils down to how your mind works. If your mind cannot filter out negatives, and if your mind does not focus on the positive, like Norman Vincent Peale would say, then the power of your mind is zilch. It is eliminated. Then it is irritational.
It's fragmented. Yeah,
fragmented. So power of the mind. As they say, it is all in your mind. Whenever we say it's all in your mind, we just poo-poo it, We say, it's all in your mind. It's not in my mind. Whereas if you know and if you believe, by the way, you have to believe. If you're cynical and if you say mind has no power, then you're not even starting the game.
Correct.
The power of mind, distills out negatives
Correct.
and gives you only the positive or closest to what is positive.
Correct.
And there you are, gaining, you're leveraging your own brain, you're leveraging your own mind, your own emotions, and so forth.
Correct.
So in Hindi, there is a saying, power
Right.
of mind, दिमाग साफ, फिर सब सही.
Correct.
If दिमाग, mind or brain,
Correct.
if your brain, mind is fine, then everything else
Clean.
is fine.
Yeah, and the SAF is very good because it says if your mind is clean, as in uncluttered is a good way to think of. SAF is a good way to think of uncluttered. Yeah.
Right. Next slide, please.
No, I think across all of these, very good thought that how do you start decluttering? You need to have something positive to focus on. If you have something positive to focus on, you automatically know what is useless and negative and can start removing it. Very good.
So, what you require in such situations is you require a satsang for your psyche. Satsang is good company.
Correct.
Sat is good, sang is company. Good
Correct.
company is needed for your psyche.
Correct.
Your psyche cannot have a good company sitting in Baikala market. And even then, if your willpower is good,
Correct.
you can still filter out negatives sitting in Baikala market.
Correct.
Yeah. But that is something you have to learn to understand and appreciate
Cultivate.
and practice. So here you see satsang. How is a satsang done? So your satsang is created by yourself. Correct. By inviting the company of good people, positive people,
Correct.
sattvic people.
Correct.
And that is how you are exercising of your psyche, bolsters or makes your own brain stronger.
Correct.
And that is when we say we bring in things like pranayama and relaxation and yoga and meditation and so forth. All these are doing what? Basically, they are eliminating or reducing the negatives that are cluttering your mind. Now, with reducing the cluttering, now we say cluttering, you cannot say, don't say, you don't clutter your mind with positive. You don't say that. You say, by definition, your cluttering is negative. And since it is negative, it is satsang. It's positive, and therefore the opposite of it is satsang.
Yes. No. Perfect.
So
Perfect.
you have to do it deliberately and consciously and willfully every day.
Correct.
People say, "What? It's a very impractical kind of a suggestion," but it is
but
possible.
you practice it. Yeah. Without that practice, you will not learn how to. It will not get cultivated for when it is really required.
Right.
So very good point. Yeah.
Satsang.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So there should be an initiator or a number one person to create satsang for you, and that person cannot be, a very bad character, smuggler, come whatever, and he cannot create satsang for you because whatever you create will be a reflection of whatever he is, which is you come across a negative character, you keep on piling up negative characters in your mind, you cannot have satsang. So you have to create a positive environment, positive ambience, if you like. And that you put into practice literally every day. Now you can do it even every 15 minutes. You say, what do you mean? In 10 minutes you get a satsang or what? Like this to say, 10 rupees mein Amitabh Bachchan, like that.
Right.
So you create this satsang.
Yeah, because it is in your mind. Yeah, it doesn't have to be physical. If you are, for example, why people say that keep the company of saints. Now the saints aren't there, but if you're thinking about what they said, or if you think about good things, and I thought you made a very good point, even things like pranayam, etc., they are helping you focus on something positive. By definition, it is removing the negative.
Right. Very true. So satsang is good and it should be encouraged. And satsang of various types, sizes, and shapes can help you. It can be a satsang in your mind, satsang in your neighborhood, satsang in your family, something.
Correct.
Filtering out negatives and reinforcing positives and keep doing it every whatever duration or frequency that you have. And that will help you in decluttering your mind.
Correct.
Now, to declutter your mind, what do? You take a broom and clean it. You can take a whatever
Correct.
and clean it
You're
off.
cleaning the cobwebs. The picture is literally
Yeah.
you're cleaning the cobwebs. Correct.
Correct. So that is decluttering your mind, and it starts in the mind and then traverses through the mind
Correct.
with the help of positive emotions and
Focused.
feelings.
Correct.
Yeah. So here is a diagram. It says how your mind, or our mind rather,
Correct.
our mind is all cluttered and confused, and we don't know how to deal with it. We
Correct.
have, for example, 10 different inputs, negatives. Your sales performance is down, your competitor is giving you trouble, your
Correct.
family is all toxic, and your emotions are toxic, etc. All
Correct.
that is cluttered status,
Correct.
status of the mind is cluttered, and that should be straightened out.
Correct.
The same mind, the same energy, mental energy, but you
Correct.
have to learn to divert and channelize those from confused situation into a cleaned out situation.
Correct.
And with the same mental energy, you
Correct.
can do this. How can you do that? So you'll ask me. The
Correct.
same mental energy calls for a restructuring of your mind energy forces, maybe.
Correct.
And the same forces can be channelized into positive, smooth
Positive.
interaction.
Correct.
And you don't need to create extra energy.
Correct.
This also you have to practice,
Correct.
You'll say, how can I practice positivity when my mind is cluttered? You say, don't create new ones, Creating new ones may add to the tension or the
Correct.
stress.
Correct.
The existing status of your mind
Restructure
can
them.
be
Correct.
restructured. Yeah. Comments, Venkatesh?
Yeah, very good point. Again, very interesting point. I think it's sort of like they say, clean up your computer. They call it
Yeah.
defragmentation, right? So
Ah,
you basically what you're doing is it's not like you put new files or taken out any files. You have just ordered them up, and by creating order around some purpose or something positive, the same jumble is now much more. You can make use of it and channelize the force. Very good thought. Very good thought.
right. This is where the traditional teachings come,
Correct.
Hari is there. Hari is the divine force, don't go by Hari, who is Hari and what's his name. The
Not
Hari is
Krishna
the
necessarily
symbol
or not Vishnu. Yeah, just generally the concept of
divine
the
force.
divine. Yeah.
Yeah. And that Hari helps you to reorganize your mental energy.
Correct.
And, Kabir said, जब हरि था, जब मैं था हरि नहीं, जब हरि है
Hari
तो
tha
मैं नहीं.
main nahi. Correct.
It's a very standard expression of how your existing mental energy
Correct.
can be reorganized and then put to a positive use.
Correct.
And here you can see all confused state of the art, so to speak. State of the art nowadays is
Or art,
confused anyway.
yeah. Confused art. Confused clip art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So you rearrange and then you end up with a positive energy. Norman Vincent Peale
Correct.
will not in unison,
Correct.
and he can
And a
help
way to do
it.
that is to have an organizing positive thought. The moment you have a
Yes,
positive thought, you
yes,
can make some sense out of this. Correct.
right. And you'll be surprised how creating positive thoughts and just rearranging,
Correct.
See, rearranging will go a long way to straighten out your mental state. It's
Correct.
called decluttering, and which goes side by side with organizing.
Correct.
Organizing means existing, which you just saw, faculties to be sort of straightened out and put away clean and so forth. The Japanese have a management term for that. I
Correct.
forget what.
Correct.
The Japanese have some very good sayings and very
Correct.
good concepts about how to streamline your mind, your very thought process.
Correct.
And if you declutter, you will automatically reorganize.
Correct.
Yeah, you don't need to go especially somewhere.
Correct.
People run to all these various confused kind of mental health.
Either a spa or a resort or some kind of an ashram, but you correct.
Yeah. Those who cannot do this decluttering by themselves may perhaps be
It will help
benefited
them.
by this.
Correct.
Yeah, but otherwise, sitting at home in your own kitchen, you
Correct.
can declutter your mind and thereby reorganize your mental energy.
Correct.
It's not wishful thinking. It is the art of straightening out everything. Yeah.
Correct.
You don't let your mind go from here to there and creating more confusion.
Correct.
You reorganize. You
Reorganize.
remove the clutter and you reorganize.
Correct.
And this is what they teach you all the, for example, in Sandhya, people used to say, why is Sandhya Vandanam? Sandhya Vandanam, Sandhya is evening.
Correct.
Sandhya Vandanam is straightening out and creating and bringing out the positive of the whole thing. And you reorganize and you declutter. And Sandhya Vandanam helps you do that because there is an element of concentration,
Focused
focus.
attention. Correct. Correct. Exactly.
And,
By the way, it's interesting you mentioned the Japanese. So the Japanese, and I'm very happy you mentioned Sandhya Vandanam in that context. So the Japanese have this concept of using a tea ceremony to calm yourself down. So you're just taking the same tea, but you're pouring it very carefully, and there is an art to it, and there is a tea master. But you take a mundane activity, do it with concentration and focus, and you calm down automatically, right? And they used to teach it to the warriors and the samurai as a way of calming their nerves down. And I think you have also talked about very often when you want to get a fresh start, like how again the analogy of the computers, right? If you're got too many files around, you make a few directories organized by some theme and you put it there, the clutter reduces because you can deal with it. So it's all the same principle. The physical can actually help us get going in that direction.
True, very true. So decluttering and reorganizing. Now there is a Sanskrit shloka toward this end. It says, Mano dhavati sarvatra. Mano is mind. Dhavati is running.
Right.
Sarvatra is everywhere.
Correct.
Now your mind is running everywhere.
Correct.
Mano dhavati sarvatra. And how is it running? Madonmatta gajendravati. Like an elephant which is gone amok. Correct. Your mind is running from backwards and creating more and more complications and emotions and so forth. Mano dhavati, your man will run everywhere.
Correct.
Unless you control it.
Correct.
Same mind, same mental energy deposits. Jnana ankusha sama buddhi. Jnana is a wisdom.
Correct.
Your mind is like an ankush.
Right.
It is which you use for calming down an elephant.
The reins.
Jnana ankusha sama buddhi. Now, if you bring in that ankush, your mind listens to it.
Correct.
You and I cannot be able to do that. Your mind is able to listen to Mahut.
Correct.
Jnana ankusha sama buddhi. So, nischalate manaha. Then your mind becomes calm.
Controlled.
Quiet and मनोधावति सर्वत्र मजोन्मत्र गजेन्द्रवत् ज्ञानांकुश समबुद्धि तत्र चलते मनः. So your mind will ultimately listen if only you know how to use your ankush. Correct. Ankush is the one small little stick of iron, so to speak. And depending on how the ankush, this fellow,
the Mahut, how the Mahut uses it, just to guide the elephant, who otherwise would be amok. Exactly.
Yeah, right. And the elephant is a gigantic animal, and your ankush is hardly 1 foot long, but he knows how exactly to poke this ankush. And then that same elephant, which is running wild here and there and even harming, sometimes even mahuts can be killed by a mad elephant. Correct. So should know how to deal with that. Jnana ankusha sama buddhi. If your buddhi is sama, all because of jnana ankusha. Correct. Tatra nischalitam manaha. So their mind settles down. So learn, find out your ankush. Correct. It's your ankush. It is symbolic. But you should know which kind of thoughts can trigger more positive thoughts and which kind of thoughts will put you down in the negative frame of mind. This is very important well because very well put. Very well put. Yeah. This is important because there is always a trigger point. Correct. Now, a trigger point, for example, you're thinking of something and then you suddenly realize that there is something not happening at your end. Then you have to counter it. You don't require alcohol for that. Correct. You require only your own internal energy, which is again jnana ankusha. Your ankusha is from within. And sama buddhi, your buddhi becomes sama, means level, level buddhi. Mano dhavati sarvatra madonmatta gajendravate jnanankusha sama buddhi tatra nischalitam manaha. There your mind quietens down. And this is art you have to learn. Now, whether you are doing the Japanese way or you are doing your own elephant mahout's way, you should know the trigger point. The trigger point can be negative or positive. For example, in the middle of something, everything is okay, and suddenly some negative thought comes and hits you. Then you become turn for no rhyme or reason.
Rhyme or reason. Correct.
You are doing fine, but suddenly somebody says, this other fellow got a Rolls Royce. Did you have a Rolls Royce? That's enough to trigger you. Yes.
Very well put. Very well put. Yeah, absolutely. Very well put.
And the same is the other way around.
Other way around. Correct. You need to know which positive thing will bring you back and take you back into control. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Superb.
Yeah. But everything internal.
Yeah. So that you can, if you're dependent on something external, it becomes more difficult. At best, some practices like you said, whether it is the making of tea or organizing a Sandhya Vandanam, those are good positive things to depend on. But otherwise, better to have it internal, your trigger point, your ankush.
Right. Now, the clutter we're talking about, it doesn't take long to form or unform.
Correct.
Because our mind has an attention span of only about 8.25 seconds.
Right.
And that attention span can be disturbed or can be bolstered. Now, as we saw just now, there is nothing uniformly negative or uniformly positive. Your attention span has to be understood and leveraged.
Correct.
And it is the cause of much of the agony and negative thoughts and negative bitter clutter kind of a thing. So average attention span of anything, for example, talking about the Rolls Royce your neighbor has got, and the jealousy, for example, doesn't require much time to spread, and vice versa. Vice versa, it can be positive, it can be negative. You listen to a computer program, and in 8 seconds, that program has come and gone. So you haven't realized the value of that program, and that's the time given is 8.25. Now it's not something mathematically proven, but basically
it may be neurologically proven, but it's a very good indicator of how long on its own our mind will stay on one thing. Otherwise, it's going to dance, like the other analogy of the monkey on a hot roof.
Yeah, that's right. So you have to learn to look at that span of attention.
Correct.
And then see how best you can utilize it.
Correct.
8.25 attention span, 8.25 seconds attention. Can be stretched? Can it be increased? You can create the positive mindset and then pull it in the positive direction. Can you do it? Yeah, apparently, yes, because our jnanis and munis and noblemen and godly men, not the godly men of today, but
correct.
Basically, all these, they are all working towards reinforcing your positive span of, say, 8.25 seconds or whatever. And it works both ways. So if it is something good for the goose, it should be good for the gander, as they say, good for the goose, good for the gander. You can't simply say your mind is full of rubbish. Because there should be a counter argument, counter force, which will reinforce and get you on the right track. And that is where we have this Ashtavadhani coming up. Ashtavadhani, or eight pronged attack, if you like.
Right.
Handling all 8 or 10, even sometimes even 15. In Andhra Pradesh, they can do it up to the limit of about 10 to 15 seconds, whatever.
Yeah.
If you can if you can pull it in that direction, your same negative Ashtavadhani can become positive Ashtavadhani. And this is also the Ashtavadhani, yes. It is like a thief pulling out your umbrella, your lock, whatever. Well, thief can open a lock using his faculties. And the same thief can, do it the other way around and make you a thief. So, Basically,
Doctor, we have last two slides and about 5 minutes left. So let's, just moving to multitasking, right? I think this is the point on multitasking.
Go ahead.
No. You basically, I just was signaling to you the amount of time left. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, we are almost at the end.
Almost at the end. Yeah.
Multitasking is inevitable. Let us not resent multitasking.
Right.
I have to do 20 different things because I have to make 22 calls and 5 this and 7 that. My son's school function is there, and in the hospital, or the creative environment that I'm in, I'm being bombarded continuously with all this.
Correct.
So I require multitasking. You can't say
Correct.
I won't do multitasking at all. There is nothing absolutely negative or positive.
Correct.
The trick is in converting the negatives into positives.
Correct.
And how to do it. Then what is your negative? What is your positive?
Correct.
You can understand your own positive and your own negative. Only then you can channelize your energy into the positive ones.
Correct.
So you have to know yourself. Now,
Correct.
how do you know yourself? Again, with the help of all this forces, positive forces like Sandhya Vandanam and the Japanese training program and so forth. So
and having a
helps.
positive focus, I think you use this example very often. You need to know what are the rocks in your jar and what are the what is the sand. If you don't know what the rocks are, you don't know what the sand is, right? You have to first put your rocks and then you'll know how much sand you can, basically rocks being important things. Correct.
Right.
Last slide now. Yeah.
Yeah, last slide. If you are in doubt about whether a given thing is good or bad for you,
right.
So in the surgeon says, when you are in doubt, cut it out. Now, surgeons, for example, they are cutting out tissues.
Correct.
If you came from an English TV channel, Upton, Michael Upton was the guy, the hero. Right. And he used to say, these were operating on somebody.
On a patient, yeah.
And you are not sure whether there's a good tissue or bad tissue. Upton would say, when in doubt, cut it out. It's a very risky way of doing
sounds
things.
a little dangerous, but I understand the point. Yeah.
Said jokingly, if you're not sure, knock it off.
Correct.
Maybe, if you are trained enough to understand this, maybe you'll not be in doubt.
Correct.
You see it one way or the other.
Correct.
But otherwise, if you're really in doubt, cut it out. But this is not recommended. I'm saying it again. If you don't know,
I think it's an important point you have made often since I know you have made this point. When you add things into, I think you made this point even today. Be careful what you add, because reorganizing what you have itself is the answer, rather than keeping on adding commitments, adding scatter, what you keep on saying, no, don't stretch yourself too thin. So I think it is in that light that this is said, right? That if you are going to add something, be very careful. Otherwise, ruthlessly cut it out so that you can handle it. Otherwise,
you're creating space for the good. Yeah.
Correct. Otherwise, you're overwhelming your own neural machinery.
Right. Good.
Perfect. So, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, we can. Go ahead and summarize.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Lovely. I love today's session. I think we started with why it is important to declutter, but we talked about the fact that clutter requires us to understand. We started with the analogy of noise, right, and Diwali crackers, and basically that noise can be disturbing, but in order for anything to be disturbing, it's quite often something in excess, right, and that's why the concept of ati. To know what is in excess, etc., we need some kind of an organizing thought that tells us what's positive for us and what's not. And that's where the power of positive thinking or an area of focus came in. We talked about satsang and how you fill your mind with positive thoughts, how you have what seem like rituals like Sandhya Vandanam or the Japanese tea ceremony, where you sort of organize your physical space and your activity to declutter and calm down, right? And all of this will basically allow us to control our emotions, give our mind the space to manage all the pushes and pulls of life, and automatically weed out the negative. Yes, Doctor?
Right. Very good. Nicely written.
Thank you. Look forward to the next one. Thank you so much, Doc.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Venkat.
Thank you.